Hello, and welcome back to paradise.
Ooh, you're not wrong.
I know. I never am.
Well, hello, lab rats and chaos connoisseurs. Welcome back to another Manic Monday morning. How we doing?
We're good. I'm good.
You good?
I'm pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah. So this morning, I had a nice little wake-up call.
Oh boy.
No, it was actually good. It was just like confusing because
Explain.
She's being loud. Maisie, you're being loud.
It's fine.
Settle down. Last night I went to bed and I put Maisie in her crate.
This is traumatic for her, apparently.
She's whining and chewing on bar stools.
Hey. Haven't we all had one of those nights?
Yeah. Well, it's like 11 a.m., but yeah. So I put her in her crate because that's where she prefers to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And this morning I woke up because she was walking on top of me.
Oh.
Don't know how that happened. But then I just kind of grabbed her and she fell right asleep in my arms.
I have a theory.
Okay.
Mothman.
Probably.
You did ask him to come see you.
I did. And he said, how can I let her know that that I was here without spooking her in the middle of the night?
Let Maisie out
I'll
of
just
her
let
crate.
I'll just let the dog out.
There it is.
And there was that thing with the dog. Mothman does seem to like dogs.
Well,
Okay.
Speaking of Mothman, I have some things to apologize for from that episode.
Maybe for your unbelief.
Absolutely not. So, I would like to apologize for Rachel fangirling so hard about Mothman for 35 plus minutes, and I am also sorry that Rachel did not invite all of us to the Mothman Festival in September.
Oh, that was implied. Are you kidding me? I want to see everyone there. Although
I felt a little excluded.
the only reason I won't be going is because, I have less money in my bank account than what our rent is. So
fair.
that's the only reason I will not be traveling. So maybe if something goes crazy on TikTok or
We'll see.
I don't know. If Mothman wants me there,
Mothman will get you there.
Mothman will get me there.
That's a way
Yeah.
to live by.
Yeah.
Instead of like all things, everything happens for a reason. It's like, no, if Mothman wants it to happen, it'll happen. That's the new saying. I would also like to just do a just completely, just a shout out really to Coke.
Are you kidding me?
I have been fangirling over these new Coke cans so hard. The Diet Coke's new, the Coke's new, and the Coca-Cola
Why
Zero.
are you giving away free ad placements? We have not been in contact with Coke.
We'll work on that. I'm just saying, we got to start somewhere. And this really is just a PR announcement.
So what you're
Please
doing,
drink Coke.
so what you're doing is, oh my gosh, okay, this pains me. My thoughts are so jumbled because I'm so upset.
Well, we can just move on.
In order to get ourselves out there with advertisers, you said, let's do a free ad so they'll take us seriously and pay us. Why would they do that if you're already doing it for free?
No, I just really don't care. I just felt like sharing something I felt passionate about, which is these new Coke cans. So that was really it.
You're welcome, Coke.
Yeah.
Free product placement.
You're welcome. Really and truly. I don't even think about it as product placement. I'm just parched.
What if when we started started reading ads, we just pitched them all like that? It was like, this is not an ad. This is just something I'm very passionate about.
Maybe.
And we get angry at each other when we read ads. Like, it'd be fun. Now everyone's going to think that this is actually an ad.
Who knows?
It's not. But Coca-Cola, if you're listening, it could be.
I would love to partner with you. I don't know about Rachel. I think Rachel would if you gave her the right price.
Right. I don't really drink soda at all, but I could for a fee.
If the price is right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. I can be bought.
I mean, I guess that's good to know.
That goes for pretty much everything. Just putting that out there. I absolutely can be bought. So,
Well, on that note, I have a story
Okay.
to share.
You doing okay? You all right? You good?
I don't really know how to transition from that. So I'm
Are
just
you doing
gonna
okay?
do it.
I didn't ask you that.
Oh yeah, I'm great.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm swell. I'm
Sorry
thriving.
that was loud. I was scooting my chair in.
It's okay. It happens.
Thank you.
Well, I guess I'll go on ahead and apologize for anyone who doesn't like when I talk about history. But I'm doing that again.
Is that a thing? Are there people who like...
I don't know.
I think that was someone...
Did you hear the motorcycle this morning rev his effing engine?
No.
It was so loud. He like...
Well, I also had like 3 million fans in my room.
Oh, fair. All right.
White noise forever.
Anyways, you done?
I think that was maybe someone who didn't want you to talk about history.
Jeez,
maybe that was a thing.
Maybe.
Have you ever had a hate drive-by? Not a hate comment, but...
Clearly I am right now.
I think that's what this is.
He's going back and forth. Back and forth. Is he done?
This is not the area to be doing that, sir. You're not going to impress anyone here.
Yikes. Uh-oh, Maisie is tangled.
Maisie.
No, she did it. She did it.
Okay, good girl.
Proud of her. She's really got herself in a...
Yummy.
She's chewing our crappy foldable set of chairs. So
yeah.
Honestly, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
Let's do it.
So I'm taking us back to Scotland. This, I will go on ahead and shout them out by their first name.
What else is new?
This goes to my girl Mia and her friend Erin, whom I met on a TikTok live, and they were telling me about being in Edinburgh. So
okay,
shout out to you two if you're listening. If you're not,
is it the Frankenstein restaurant?
No.
Oh, then I don't want to be here.
I'm sorry. So sorry for being repetitive, but everyone can just deal. In the city of Edinburgh, there is a beautiful garden that kind of stretches the city distance.
Okay.
It's known as the Princess Street Gardens.
Love it.
There's actually a famous blue fountain that is in the movie Eurovision on Netflix with Will Ferrell. Also, no shame. That's a great movie.
Haven't seen it.
I will fight you on that one.
Oh, okay.
But that's not that important. I just wanted to talk about Eurovision. So, but it's also important to note that like Edinburgh is one of the most haunted cities in the world.
Ooh.
You would love.
Isn't that also where I should probably know this better than you since it was my episode. It was eons ago. Actually, it was 30 weeks ago. But isn't that where the sculpture or the statue of Wojtek is? I'm fairly certain.
Unknown.
I'm fairly certain.
I plead the fifth on that one. So these gardens through the city are very famous. It's in all the pictures right below Edinburgh Castle. If you look it up, it's like you see the garden. But around, I don't know, say math, it would make that 700 years ago, it was a swamp.
Oh, okay.
So
kind of like where we live.
Yeah, but much. It was like man-made.
It was a swamp in Scotland, really?
So this is called Nor Loch.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it's North Lake.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Makes sense.
This is actually James the Third. He's obviously the next in line after James the Second, who was with the Black Dinner. No, Black Dinner James the Second.
All right, but I
Cool
never would have
timelines.
imagined that the third would come after the second.
So in 1460, he comes to the throne and decides, okay, well, we've been in a lot of wars. The English are going to come after us. So he decided to build this man-made lake, or in the main city center. It basically is like a moat. He wanted to protect the castle.
Yeah, as one does.
He builds this moat.
I love a moat, truly. That is my dream home includes a moat.
Wow.
My dream home is just really any home that has a moat. That's mostly what matters, is the moat.
Nice. So, okay, that's interesting thing I learned about you today. Yeah. Fair enough. So the lake, very nice, clean, fresh water, but it literally does not stay that way for long because it pretty much becomes like the waste bin for everything.
Okay.
So we're talking obviously waste as in human excrement. But also like waste from the slaughterhouses and dead bodies and construction debris. I mean, just everything gets thrown in this lake.
Well, wait, the lake or the moat?
Well,
Are they-
moat.
okay.
The lake is acting as a moat, but it's technically a lake. It's a loch.
Okay, so it's just like a lake in front of his home.
Correct.
Rather than a moat, like a lazy river moat.
Right.
So, honestly, I'm all for this. I think this is going to be more effective than just water in a moat.
Right.
This is going to deter people.
This is the point.
This is a great home security system. Like, I'm with it.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
So again, this is just really a protective device, defense against the English.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, it just kind of starts becoming disgusting.
Yeah.
And it becomes this just stagnant cesspool of filth.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine the smell, and it's not pleasant.
Yep. So just picture I honestly picture like one of the movies that best visualized how disgusting cities were before proper health and sanitation was Les Mis. That, the movie version. Duh.
Yes.
But like that on steroids, because it's just like this lake of grossness.
Yeah. Any one of those things would be absolutely disgusting and so foul smelling that you wouldn't be able to stand it.
Right.
All of them together?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'll knock you out.
So this loch is actually home to like a lot of, maybe not legend is the right word here. So everybody, it's like kind of embedded in their history, because it's kind of, it's a dark time. So it wasn't just a cesspool of filth. It actually was home to probably the darkest parts of the human experience and Scotland's haunted history.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
I was just like half a second too late when you said it wasn't just like a cesspool of whatever. I was like, it gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
I am ready. Oh, hi, Maisie. Sorry, she's under my feet. Didn't realize it.
Is she biting my foot again? No, she doesn't want me. She wants the leg of my chair, which is fine. I will chime in. So when I was in Edinburgh, when we went on one of the tours, like every little, it was one of the haunted tours, ghost tour thing.
Mm-hmm.
Every story related to this loch.
All right.
In some way.
Let's hear it.
So this was a popular place for punishments, trials, and executions. The Scottish,
My favorite things,
are intense people, okay? And historically, they're
They're
so
what?
they're
that was a good one.
I think that one is better. The second
time was better. Yep.
So one of the most remembered activities here was the witch dukings or duckings.
Dukings?
It's like the Scottish pronunciation. It's Douking. Dowkings.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. It just made me think of like every child who says like dookie. Sorry.
There were some dookies in this lake, though, I'll tell you that much.
I've been listening to too much Mozart. I have too much potty humor. That's a reference to our TikTok. I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys. Had to be there.
TLDR, Mozart made a lot of poop jokes.
And so does Rachel, apparently. So
I'm what can I say? I've been influenced by Mozart, and I am also a genius.
So duckings, okay? Mm-hmm. So obviously during the 1600s, the witchcraft scare was everywhere. But Scotland was a particularly intense place to be accused of witchcraft. At this point, it's now James VI in the 1600s, and he apparently is notorious for being afraid of the dark arts and anything subtle, slightly weird. He was like Satan.
So just a little question here.
Yeah.
So James III was the one who kind of established the moat.
Correct. And then we have some kings along the way.
That's just backstory. Now we're at James.
We're
VI.
in the 1600s, so now we're at James VI, right?
Number 6.
So, keep in mind, by the 1600s, it's already a disgusting cesspool.
Love.
Okay? So in Scotland, I call this the swim or swing. No, geez. Gosh, guys.
Yeah.
The swim or sink test.
Oh,
And
yes.
You know, so women, mostly women. I mean, there were some men, but it was mostly
usually women.
If they were found practicing with herbal medicines, had any sort of physical deformity, had any realm of a mental illness at all, or honestly were just somebody that you had a grudge against, they were easily tried as a witch.
Had a couple brain cells and you used them, you got on a man's nerves.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was an easy way to get somebody. If they if you guys were mad at each other, just call them a witch.
Yeah.
and then problem solved. Because once you were accused of a witch, you had to do the swim or sink test.
I would personally go with sink or swim. I think that's a little easier to say. That might help you out.
AKA ducking. So what they would do is they'd bind the hands and feet of the man or woman, throw them into this swamp cesspool of disgustingness.
That's so much worse than, like...
It's not just like a clean pool.
Most places where this happened, it was in water.
So, if you sank, you were not a witch.
Yeah.
So
because witches could survive it.
Right. So if you sank, you're great. You weren't a witch. You're innocent. But you've also drowned and died. So, their thought was, well, at least they go to heaven, right? Because they're very religious.
I prefer to call this test, this little
murder
trial. I was going to call it death or death, but
yeah, also that.
Murder also works.
So on the opposite side, if you float or swim or survive, you're a witch.
Don't forget,
and therefore, the minute you hit the shores, they kill you.
Swimming is witchcraft.
So it's kind of just like, it's a lose-lose. You're dead or you're dead.
Yeah.
So it's said that around, at least 300 women in the city of Edinburgh were killed this way.
Yeah, I believe it.
And there's actually a small monument called the Witch's Well, down in the Princess Street Gardens that you can go see and visit, because I believe it was the mid-1800s. There was an architect that was saying, we need to, this is a dark part of our history. We need to remember that these women, 300 innocent people were probably murdered.
Sure.
Hey, no on my cord. No. So Maisie's trying to screw us over and kill the podcast. So thanks a lot, Maisie.
Yeah, because it means it's an hour where she doesn't get attention.
True. So there's a lot of other people that are murdered and brutally killed in this fashion. So one example is in 1628. George Sinclair and his two sisters are charged with incest.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
They're going to somehow blame the women for this.
No, they blame them all. They do blame them all. They all get the axe. So
do we know if it was consensual?
From what I understand, yes.
Oh.
It was.
There's not a good answer there.
But
both answers would have been horrible.
Right. But so much of it is kind of like a little bit of a rumor. It's not like somebody walked in and they were like, it's like, okay, y'all are too close. Creepy close.
Yeah.
So George, it's some people claim that perhaps the younger girl, so there's two sisters and George, the younger sister was spared. They obviously are to be executed, but the way they are executed is a little bit different than our sink or swim test.
Okay.
They are placed in a large wooden chest together, all three of them. There are small holes.
I feel like I've heard this one.
You might have.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I've heard of this whole thing before.
So they dig these little holes in it, right?
Yeah.
Throw them in the loch.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely heard of that one before.
Really yummy stuff going on there. So that's what we know is, right, 1628, these three people thrown into the loch, they're dead.
Sure,
okay.
Yeah.
So more stuff happens, but in the beginning of the 1700s, people are kind of like, this place is really disgusting, and it's like a health hazard.
You don't say.
Not great. So in 1759, the call for draining the loch and kind of starting it over grew. So it actually they started draining on the east side, just kind of draining it out, which I actually don't exactly know how that works, but okay. In 1764, the eastern part had been sufficiently drained, so they started building this super elaborate bridge, which you can still go see. And then they start to drain the western side in kind of the beginning of the 1800s. So in 1820, there was a little watchtower at the foot of Castle Rock on the western side. And workmen were in there excavating, digging around, trying to clean it up, and they found an old chest. And they opened the chest, and they found at least 2 identifiable bodies.
Identifiable?
Yeah. As this, well, I just mean 2, like...
They were identifiable as human bodies.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, again, the thought is obviously it's George Sinclair. It's pretty widely agreed upon that that's who it is.
Yeah,
but it was more like they could only find 2 identifiable bodies.
Right.
Instead of 3.
Mm-hmm.
So the thought is, okay, well, maybe the third daughter or sister, the younger one was spared so that, she'd go to a nunnery. Like maybe they thought there was hope for her or whatever. So that's just like an interesting little like creepy fun fact. So after that happens in 1820, at that point, it's pretty much completely drained. And from 1830 till 1876, they were constructing the Princess Street Gardens. Okay. And throughout the gardens, they have lots of like the Witch's Well and different things like that. They have different commemorative sites of like just kind of remembering the atrocities of the past. Yeah. But it's people see apparitions and like spirits when they go there of like different people who, now there's one story about a guy who committed suicide. And that was another big thing that happened around the loch was people would go commit suicide there. And they said that, sometimes they can see the spirits of a young boy or an old butcher and just like different beings. And it's just, people always say that like they will feel something there. And I don't know how true that is, obviously. There's been lots of like, I've been.
Did you feel something there?
I felt something on our trip, on our ghost tour, and which is a whole different story that I'd love to tell you sometime about this. Like, I think his name was McCarthy. I have to remember. It's a very not so good story. Like 10 thumbs down because there were lots of people murdered. When I was on the ghost tour, I remember there were several times where I felt like a breeze, but there was no wind and like spooky feelings. But I think part of that is like your brain is your own worst enemy in that situation because you're already scared.
Absolutely.
But I will say when I did walk through Princess Street Gardens, I didn't know about Nor Loch yet. And looking back, I remember having a weird vibe. Okay. Like it was pretty, but it was like a little like, it felt like something was being hidden. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, maybe our friends in Edinburgh could help enlighten us some more. Feel free to shoot us some emails or messages on our socials because this is definitely still a deep part of the legacy in Edinburgh from what I've read.
Yeah.
And I can attest, it's spooky.
Yeah.
Right? It's got its spooky parts. So.
And we do love when you guys send us more information about things we've covered or like your personal connections to it. Some of the messages we've gotten have been really fun about some of that stuff.
Yeah, they're awesome. And something like this is definitely, you can go way deeper because there's going to be all kinds of other side stories of like, oh, there's, there could be stories in your family of, some sort of connection with it. But I just thought it was really interesting. It's like this disappeared. It's a lake that completely disappeared in the heart of Edinburgh. Yeah. And just thought it was a really strange, spooky place that connected to the strange spookiness of Edinburgh.
Well, good stuff. What a fun, lighthearted, uplifting episode.
I try.
I absolutely love it. And I love the effect that I'm apparently having on you.
I try. Why did I lose my voice when I said that?
I thought you were just whispering.
No, I just couldn't get my vocal cords stopped working.
Love that. Look at this dog. Oh, there she goes. Oh, kind of.
Bliss.
She's just like army crawling.
She's just happy. Well,
I guess you could say that.
Maisie's happy. I'm happy. Rachel's happy.
You don't know that.
So we'll tell you our socials now, I suppose. You can find us at Instagram and TikTok.
HYPERFOCUS Pod.
Twitter.
HYPERFOCUS_pod.
And YouTube and Facebook.
HYPERFOCUS: a podcast for chaotic minds.
And don't forget the ever popular Gmail.
HYPERFOCUScast@gmail.com.
So feel free to send us really anything you want. Maybe not anything, but yeah, why not?
Google does a decent job of filtering out spam.
Yeah. So that is where we will leave you this week, and we will catch you next time.
You know what? I have a request for the Gmail.
Oh, please do it.
Instead of sending us love letters this week, send Maisie a love letter, because she was really good during this episode, except for chewing through your wire, but we probably should have, one of us should have noticed that earlier.
Yeah, it's fine, it happens.
Yeah, she didn't have any chew toys out, so it's okay.
But yeah, send love letters to Maisie and Bo. Bo needs love. He's been really jealous lately.
But does he deserve love?
Everyone deserves love.
Everyone. Maisie, what are you eating? Gosh.
I take it back. No love letters from Maisie.
No, this is because she hasn't gotten any love letters.
Is that fuzz?
Yeah.
Yum.
This is why. This is what happens when Maisie doesn't get love letters.
She eats fuzz.
She eats like the inside of Bo's toys.
It's really cute.
Well, it's cute until she swallows it. I don't love it. So maybe let's give her some attention instead. And with that being said, we're gonna sign off so I can go give her some attention.
Bye, friends.
Stay chaotic, babes.
And I'll tell you why some people think this. So their punishment, they
Hang
were
on.
obvious.
Maisie.
Is she gonna pee?
I don't think so. I think it's because I was giving her treats over there when I was training her. Maisie, here. Here. Maisie, here. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Lay down. Up. Lay down. Good girl. Good job. Good job. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you start that part over? Just that last sentence or two?
She never tells me good job. Anyways.
Go ahead.
You have to give me a command.
Read.
In 1628, George Sinclair and his two sisters were charged with incest.
Oh, I don't want to click that sentence.
All right, so